Flashlight Actions on Girls' Safety, a United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence and Women sponsored project to reach 750 marginalized adolescent girls directly in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in Nasarawa and Niger States. So flags started May 2021 and will run for 3 years till May 2024. We've carried out advocacy to the communities, advocacy to the stakeholders in the FCT in Niger and in Nasarawa, the police, gender desk office, the feeder, the health departments and the communities.
A lot of girls have been put through a lot of pain by the men around them. And sometimes it's not just outsiders, even men within the family. And all this has to stop. We need to put an end to violence against girls. Violence in the home, violence outside the home.
I'm happy that Tabitha Kume has been working on this for a couple of years now and dealing with a few women, taking up the issues in a lot of community here in the FCT. So it's something we all stand against, something that is deadly, if you would say. I would say that it's a big #1 problem in the world.
Another thing we need to do is to help remove the stigma, because one major reason why a lot of people who suffer from this do not come forward and talk is stigma. They're afraid of what people will say, they're worried about fingers being pointed and being stigmatized for life.
So Flags is a needs-based project because during the lockdown of the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a shadow pandemic. Many women and girls were locked in with perpetrators, who continued to violate them during that period because of the economic pressures, because they were not going out to work, and everyone was around in the neighborhood. But there was an outcry against it. And also at that time, a group to which we belong, the 100 Women Lobby Group, carried out a research on the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on women and girls' well-being and on gender-based violence. And it was found that a very, very, very alarming and shocking finding from it was that young girls between the ages of 10 and 14 had the largest increase in violence during that period. And so we decided to, because we also work with girls, and we know the feedback we get, but now this was data, from all over the country, and also there was a high swing around the North Central. So we decided to look for funds to create more awareness on gender-based violence, because many of the girls at that age are naive. They don't even understand what gender-based violence is.
I could remember vividly, let me say,
That's fine.
9 months ago. So there was a girl, she's 3 years old, and she was raped by a 73-year-old man. So he was caught. In short, that day it was raining. So the man was caught, and then he wanted to deny it, but due to the bleeding, that the little girl was bleeding, and then so the action, so what the community did to the man was that they only beat him mercilessly, and then people gathered him. In short, the community boys wanted to kill him, but the leaders in the community did not allow him to do that. So he was beaten mercilessly, and then he was taken to police station. And later on, we didn't hear anything about him, whether he was punished or killed. We never heard anything about the man again.
We also have We're also working with the primary health centers in these communities because we understand that majorly the problem of getting justice for survivors of gender-based violence is because there's a lack of evidence and there's a dearth of understanding. People don't know what they need to do, even the health officers. They don't know. So they need to be trained. From our experience in the work we've done in communities, we understand that, by the time you want to help, to seek justice, but there's nothing to show. The girl has been violated, but there's no evidence that this has happened.
There was a time a woman came to report that her husband assaulted her because of the children that one of the child stole in the school, and that brought a lot of problem to the family, to the extent that the man burnt the boy's hand. He burnt the boy's hand. He was taken to the hospital. They spent some months in National Hospital. Even up to today, the boy cannot use it, the two hands. Then after the mother too was assaulted by the husband, just because of this children issue too. And she was, how do I put it now? She was injured. He used knife to injure her on the hand. She brought it to me. I wanted to treat it. She said no, that she wanted to take it to the family first. Then I called Tabitha then, and we tried to find the woman. After some time, the woman said we should not talk about the case again. So that is one. Then there was one too that was rushed to the clinic around 10 p.m. one day like that. I just saw the woman bleeding profusely all over the body. What happened? He said the husband beat her. He hit her on the head, and we have to do our work as a health worker. We stitch it, did the normal thing we are supposed to do for the woman. Then I reported the case to Tabitha Kumi, which they took her number, and the woman even clamored for help that she needs them to come to her aid. And I think it was done.
So with them, the primary health care becomes a safe and a friendly first point of response to a girl that's been violated. They know that they can go there. And when they go there, they also know what they need to take so that justice can be carried out. So train them on response to the survivor's evidence collection, treatment, preservation of evidence, what they need to do. Like sometimes the clothes that they wear that are torn, or whatever, people just discard it or they wash them because they don't know. The safe spaces will be set up in the communities. These safe spaces will be set up in places that are accessible, that are, in the communities. It could be the chief's palace, it could be the school, depending on the community. They are community specific. It's not, that in every community it's in a particular place. It depends on what is convenient in each location. And in these safe spaces, the girls will meet 3 times a week. They will learn a manual. Using a manual, they will learn a lot. They will be well informed about gender-based violence, how to prevent, how to respond, and to report. So we're working with 750 direct beneficiaries, but we have a lot of indirect beneficiaries, because without stakeholders in the community, we cannot succeed. The fight against gender-based violence it's a collective effort. Everyone has to be involved. We all have to put our hands together, and it starts right from the grassroots. We're working with faith and traditional leaders. The faith and traditional leaders are important because whatever they say, people embrace it. So when they speak out against it, against gender-based violence, people listen. At least there's some kind of fear that this thing is not right. I shouldn't be caught doing it. I shouldn't do it. So we're working, with faith and traditional leaders.
The Tabitha Community Foundation has helped me a lot in this community, most especially in these aspects. In fact, when this Tabitha coming into the community, they started it in this palace here. After here, in fact, many places that we have been meeting, even with the girls, boys, idols, and we have seen a lot of changing in this community. One, most of the time, if you hear any grudges or something outside, you will learn that it is between boy and girl. But when they started collecting this lecture or teaching, in fact, it has reduced. Girls have not their rights now, although we are still, even after you have left, we do have time to time to teach them. Like in a youth meeting, they have a youth forum in this community, both Kogu 1, 2, 3. Last week of the month, they used to meet, and those are the teachings that their chairman, their youth leader, normally teach them after you have done.
The idea is to work in a COVID-19 context. As it is, we pray to go out of the lockdowns and the COVID-19 protocols and restrictions, but work is now a lot more virtual than it is physical. So what we intend to do is that a virtual case management will be set up, and from each cluster, the Mama Yara flags up the case when there is any. That we have this now, she flags it up. And then we from the office get our stakeholders together and set up a virtual case management. The survivor is there with a family member and the Mama Yara and the case management people, and it can be done from various offices. All we need is to get a time where we connect.
There is nobody above the law. Whosoever is involved, such person should be reported. Investigation will be carried out, and the person will be prohibited if found wanting. We have a lot of conviction. There are many of them that are presently in prison, life sentence.
We're also working with community stakeholders because without them, nothing can be done within the communities. We're working with them to have an understanding that you can't keep settling these cases in the community. I say, don't worry, it's our brother, forgive him. And then your brother continues, he picks another, he preys on another girl, preys on another woman, preys on infants. So to understand that they are destroying their community, the fabric of the community, by allowing this.
What can we do about it? Well, we need to sensitize people. We need to let them know, as I said earlier, from a young age, that it's wrong. They need to understand what it is and what the ideal should be so they can work towards that. And then we also need to strengthen our laws and strengthen the implementation of these laws, because there are laws against these forms of violence, but a lot of times they are not implemented. The relevant parties need to be educated and made more aware, healthcare workers, the legal department, the police, because these three arms work together when there are cases of GBV. to bring about conviction or punishment of the perpetrator.
The United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence Against Women has provided funding for this project and has made it possible for us to be able to reach not only 750 marginalized girls, but other girls within the community, because whatever they are taught, they will also teach other girls. They will become peer mentors in the communities to also talk to other girls, and when other girls have problems, they know what to, they know what to do. So even though the fund is directly for 750 girls, the multiplier effect and the reach is beyond what we can actually, quantify. So this is a it's a most welcome, project needed at this time, to support girls. Because if you hear their stories, stories that some of them have to say, they're heartbreaking. So now bringing this help to them to be able to access knowledge, which is power, correct information, to have access to response line, referral pathways, to health, to justice, and to shelter if necessary. I think it's going to be really wonderful. And I would really like to appreciate the United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence Against Women and Girls for supporting women and girls in the fight against gender-based violence all over the world. And Tabitha Kumi Foundation is privileged to be part of the organizations that are enjoying this support to reach girls that are unreached, and to bring healing, to bring health, to bring justice and knowledge to them in their communities and beyond.